The obsidian council chamber of the Cathar Imperium hummed with a low, resonant frequency, a sound that vibrated not just through the polished black floor, but through the very bone structure of the assembled delegates. Luminescent projections flickered across the vast, vaulted ceiling, depicting swirling nebulae and distant, uncharted star systems, each light-year a testament to the Imperium's boundless reach. Yet beneath the cosmic grandeur, an undercurrent of disquiet thrummed, a dissonance that even the most stoic Cathar could not entirely suppress. High Counselor Xyler's chitinous claws tapped an impatient rhythm against the armrest of his elevated throne, the sound echoing unnaturally loud in the otherwise hushed space. His multiple ocular stalks, usually radiating an air of unyielding authority, swiveled with a nervous energy, sweeping across the faces of the lesser counselors, searching for answers no one seemed to possess. "The anomaly persists," Xyler's voice, a gravelly baritone, cut through the oppressive silence, his words amplified by the chamber's acoustic enhancers. "Unchanged, unexplained, and utterly unresponsive." A shudder rippled through the gathered Cathar. The anomaly. It was a term uttered with a mixture of dread and bewilderment across the Imperium's vast territories. A new species emerging from a forgotten quadrant of the galactic west, a region long dismissed as barren, devoid of intelligent life, or at least devoid of anything significant enough to warrant Cathar attention. They called themselves humans. A simple designation, almost childish in its brevity, yet it belied the perplexing nature of their existence. Envoy Esthar, whose diplomatic mission had been abruptly truncated and redefined into one of frantic observation, shifted in his ceremonial robes. "Their vessels, High Counselor, continue to defy all known principles of propulsion. They are not hyperspatial. They are not warp-driven. They do not employ gravitic displacement in any measurable capacity. Yet they traverse vast interstellar distances with a speed that borders on the instantaneous, appearing and disappearing with a disorienting lack of causality." His words hung in the air, a chilling scientific paradox. The Cathar Imperium had charted the stars for millennia, their mastery of physics and engineering the envy of countless younger civilizations. To encounter a species whose fundamental technology seemed to operate outside the very laws of their universe was not merely unsettling. It was an existential affront. "And their behavior?" demanded Counselor Xyreth, her voice a sharp, high-pitched query, her predatory mandibles clicking in agitation. Xyreth oversaw the Imperium's vast military intelligence apparatus, and the humans, or rather the lack of discernible pattern in their actions, had become an intractable thorn in her meticulously constructed strategic models. "Are they hostile? Are they exploratory? Are they merely lost?" The question lingered, pregnant with unspoken fears. The humans had made no aggressive moves, initiated no hostile broadcasts, fired no weapons. They simply were. Their vessels, sleek and devoid of any visible weaponry, had appeared within the Imperium's charted space, near resource-rich systems, then vanished, only to reappear in another, equally vital region, leaving behind only baffled sensor readings and a growing sense of vulnerability. "Lost is not a term I would apply to a species capable of such precision," Esthar countered, a subtle tremor in his vocalizers. "They avoid direct engagement, yes, but their maneuvers are not random. They skirt the very edges of our defensive perimeters with an audacious grace. Their initial appearances, always within sensor range, always just beyond effective interception, suggest a calculated awareness of our capabilities. It is as if they are surveying us, gauging our responses." A collective shiver coursed through the chamber. Surveying, gauging. It implied an intelligence, a purpose, a cold analytical intent that was far more terrifying than outright aggression. Aggressors could be understood, fought, defeated. But these humans, these silent observers, were an enigma draped in an aura of impossible technology. High Counselor Xyler brought a heavy claw down on his armrest, the resonant thud silencing the murmur that had begun to build. "We have deployed our scout fleets, our deep space probes. We have even attempted direct, non-aggressive hails encoded in every known galactic dialect, broadcast across every conceivable frequency. And yet nothing, only silence, not even the hum of a propulsion system, not even the flicker of a life sign. It is as if their vessels are merely reflections, distortions in the fabric of space-time." He paused, his ocular stalks fixing on the central holographic projection, which now displayed a shimmering, featureless human vessel, suspended against the backdrop of a Cathar-controlled nebula. "This state of affairs cannot continue. The Imperium cannot tolerate such an unknown, such a phantom within its borders. We project an image of absolute dominance, high counselors. To allow this entity to persist unaddressed is to invite whispers of weakness to erode the very foundations of our authority. The debate raged for cycles, a cacophony of logical extrapolations, fear-driven hypotheses, and frustrated appeals to established doctrine. Some advocated for a full military deployment, a show of overwhelming force to either compel a response or annihilate the unknown threat. Others argued for extreme caution, fearing that any aggressive act against such an advanced, if inexplicable, species could provoke a devastating retaliation, the nature of which they could not even begin to imagine. The philosophical implications were also profound. The Cathar, like many galactic civilizations, believed in a hierarchical structure of intelligence, a progression of technological and social development that led, inevitably, to their own preeminent position. The humans, by defying these very assumptions, threatened to overturn centuries of self-assured dogma. Their home world, Counselor Pithar, the Imperium's chief xenolinguist, interjected, his voice unusually strained. We have located its approximate coordinates based on their trajectory patterns, a singular, unremarkable blue-green planet orbiting a yellow dwarf star, nothing exceptional, no vast orbital defense platforms, no obvious signs of hyper-industrialization. It appears primitive by our standards. His words, intended to reassure, only deepened the unease. How could a primitive world produce such incomprehensible technology? It was illogical. It was impossible. It defied every known principle of technological evolution. Xyler contemplated Pithar's words, his mandibles flexing. Primitive, yet capable of crossing vast intergalactic distances in the blink of an eye. Primitive, yet immune to our finest surveillance. Primitive, yet capable of eluding our most advanced detection systems. The terms seem contradictory, Counselor. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Perhaps their true strength lies not in overt displays, but in a subtlety we have yet to comprehend. Perhaps their lack of visible weaponry is a deliberate deception. Perhaps their silence is a profound psychological weapon designed to sow discord and fear within our ranks. The fear was palpable. The Cathar Imperium, forged in countless conflicts and tempered by the harsh realities of galactic expansion, understood strength. They understood weakness, but they did not understand this quiet, unyielding mystery. The High Council eventually reached a reluctant, uneasy consensus. A limited show of force would be deployed. Not an invasion, not an attack, but a definitive, undeniable demonstration of Cathar might to force a response, to compel the humans to reveal their true nature, their intentions. A single battle group comprised of the Imperium's most advanced destroyers and cruisers would execute a series of high-energy weapon discharges near the trajectory of the next detected human vessel. No direct fire, no targeting of their ship. Merely a message etched in pure energy. You are observed. You are not welcome here without identifying yourselves. We are the Cathar, and our patience is not infinite. The moment of contact, when it finally arrived, was far from the dramatic confrontation the Cathar had anticipated. A human vessel, sleek and silver-gray, shimmered into existence on the edge of the Trakan Nebula, a region notorious for its volatile energy fields and treacherous gravimetric anomalies. The Cathar battle group, held in readiness for cycles, immediately executed their pre-programmed maneuvers, their weapon systems charging, preparing to unleash their majestic, intimidating display of power. A volley of plasma bolts, precisely calibrated to avoid impacting the human ship, tore through the void, illuminating the nebula with brilliant, fleeting supernovae. Gravimetric pulses rippled through space, designed to disorient and warn, a concussive statement of intent. And then it happened. A single, clear signal. Not a visual broadcast, not an aggressive hail, but a burst of data seemingly directed at the Cathar command vessel. The Cathar's universal translators struggled for a moment, then rendered the alien syntax into their own tongue. The voice was calm, composed, utterly devoid of aggression, yet imbued with an undeniable, quiet authority. This is Human Vessel Odyssey. Your demonstration of kinetic and energetic capabilities has been noted. We understand your concerns regarding our presence. We wish to assure you that our intentions are non-hostile. We offer the opportunity for direct, open communication. We believe such an exchange would be mutually beneficial. A stunned silence descended upon the Cathar command bridge. Non-hostile. Mutually beneficial. The words so simple yet so profound in their unexpected delivery. The commander of the Cathar battle group, General Krathar, a veteran of countless campaigns, found himself momentarily speechless. His entire career had been built on understanding and responding to threats, and this was not a threat, it was an invitation. An invitation from a species that had defied every attempt at comprehension. A species whose calm demeanor in the face of overwhelming Cathar firepower was almost insulting in its unflappability. High Counselor Zyler's voice crackled through the comms, his tone tinged with a mixture of suspicion and a hesitant intrigue. General Crathar, open a secure channel, respond to their invitation, demand their identity, their purpose, their origin, but maintain full battle readiness. Do not trust their words until their actions confirm them. The channel was opened. The Cathar's xenolinguistic protocols were engaged, their most advanced translation algorithms working furiously to parse the human communication. The response from the Odyssey was immediate, almost too quick, as if they had anticipated the Cathar's hesitation. We understand your reticence, General Crathar, the human voice stated, still perfectly calm, perfectly modulated. Our vessel, the Odyssey, is a long-range exploration and diplomatic platform. Our purpose is the peaceful expansion of our understanding of the universe and the establishment of harmonious relations with other sentient species. Our origin point is the Sol system, a designation we believe you have already determined. The data burst that followed contained a wealth of information. Stellar cartography, astronomical data, a detailed anatomical schematic of a human, complete with physiological functions and a complex mathematical sequence that encoded a universal primer for interspecies communication, elegant in its simplicity and devastatingly effective. Pithar, the xenolinguist, was practically vibrating with excitement in the Cathar command center. High Counselor, their primer, it is exquisite, flawless. It utilizes pure mathematics and fundamental physics to establish a common ground for linguistic exchange. This is not the work of a primitive species. This is the culmination of immense intellectual sophistication. His words were met with skepticism, but the evidence was irrefutable. The Cathar translators, augmented by the human primer, were now operating with unprecedented clarity, rendering the human's language with near-perfect fidelity. The dialogue began, hesitant at first, then growing more complex, more nuanced. The humans, through the voice of a being they called Ambassador Elias Thorne, revealed themselves with a measured, deliberate honesty. They spoke of their journey, a multi-generational undertaking to explore beyond the perceived boundaries of their own stellar neighborhood. They explained their propulsion, a concept they termed quantum displacement, which manipulated localized spacetime at a subatomic level, allowing for near-instantaneous translocation without exceeding the speed of light within their own frame of reference. The Cathar scientists, initially incredulous, began to recognize the underlying mathematical elegance, the theoretical possibility that had always been just beyond their grasp. It was a technology born of a fundamentally different approach to physics, a paradigm shift that humbled even the most arrogant Cathar researchers. But it was not just their technology that was remarkable. It was their philosophy, their approach to exploration. We do not seek conquest, Ambassador Thorne stated, his voice resonating through the Cathar Council chamber, projected via a highly sophisticated optical holographic device provided by the humans themselves. We seek understanding, collaboration. We believe that true strength lies not in dominance, but in the collective wisdom and diversity of all intelligent life. Our journey through the cosmos is one of learning, of sharing, of contributing to a broader galactic tapestry. High Counselor Zyler listened, his multiple ocular stalks narrowed in intense scrutiny. The words were beautiful, almost poetic. But the Cathar Imperium had heard such words before, often as a prelude to subtle infiltration or insidious manipulation. Yet there was something in Thorne's demeanor, a quiet sincerity that resonated beyond mere rhetoric. The humans had willingly provided detailed schematics of their propulsion system, their energy generation, their life support. They had opened their data streams, revealing centuries of their history, their art, their scientific achievements. All of it without hesitation, without demands. You offer this information freely, Zyler finally asked, his voice betraying a hint of his ingrained suspicion. Without condition, without expecting reciprocal exchange. Thorne's holographic image inclined its head slightly. We offer. It as a gesture of goodwill, High Counselor, a foundation for trust. We understand that trust must be earned, and we are willing to invest in that process. As for reciprocal exchange, we believe that the pursuit of knowledge is its own reward. The universe is vast. There is much to learn from one another. Our primary request is simply the right to exist peacefully within galactic society, to explore, and to establish diplomatic relations. The sheer audacity of their generosity, coupled with their technological prowess, began to chip away at the Cathar's ingrained prejudices. The data they provided was meticulously verified by Cathar scientists, and everything checked out. Their quantum displacement drives were not theoretical, they were operational. Their energy systems, based on controlled subatomic fusion, dwarfed anything the Cathar possessed in terms of efficiency and output. The anatomical schematics revealed a species remarkably resilient, adaptable, and possessed of a highly complex neural architecture. "They are not weak," General Crathar reported to the High Council, his voice filled with a new, profound respect. "They simply choose not to display their strength in the ways we anticipated. Their vessels, while lacking overt weaponry, are constructed of materials far beyond our current metallurgical capabilities. Their energy signatures, when analyzed through the lens of their provided schematics, indicate a defensive capacity that could withstand a sustained assault from our battle groups. They chose not to retaliate, they chose to communicate." This realization sent a fresh wave of introspection through the Cathar leadership. They had approached the humans with suspicion, with a readiness for conflict, and with an underlying assumption of their own technological superiority. The humans had met their aggression with calm, their suspicion with transparency, and their assumptions with a humbling display of advanced science and profound ethical principles. They had been prepared to fight a war, and the humans had offered a treaty. The turning point came when a localized gravimetric anomaly, a phenomenon known to sporadically occur within Cathar space, unexpectedly intensified, threatening to destabilize a crucial Cathar mining colony on the gas giant Xylos 7. The Cathar engineers, despite their advanced knowledge, were struggling to contain the escalating disruption. A direct plea for assistance was made to the humans, a desperate measure born of necessity rather than full trust. Ambassador Thorne's response was immediate and without hesitation. "We will assist. Our vessel Odyssey is equipped with advanced gravimetric stabilizers designed for navigating highly volatile celestial phenomena. We believe we can help mitigate the anomaly." The Odyssey arrived at Xylos 7 with astonishing speed. Its sleek form, once a source of apprehension, now represented a beacon of hope. The humans, without demanding any form of compensation or even a formal agreement, began to deploy their specialized equipment. Holographic projections from the Odyssey displayed complex energy fields, precisely calibrated to counteract the gravimetric fluctuations. Human technicians, their forms clad in sleek minimalist environmental suits, moved with quiet efficiency, their actions precise and coordinated. The Cathar engineers watched in awe as the human technology, seemingly effortless, began to stabilize the anomaly. What would have taken the Imperium's finest minds cycles of dedicated effort, the humans accomplished in a matter of hours. The gravimetric distortions receded, the seismic tremors on Xylos 7 subsided, and the mining colony was saved. The gratitude of the Cathar Imperium was profound, shattering centuries of ingrained arrogance and self-sufficiency. This act of selfless aid, performed without expectation or demand, solidified the humans' position not as a potential threat, but as a genuine, benevolent force. High Counselor Xyler personally contacted Ambassador Thorne. "Ambassador," his voice, usually so rigid, held a newfound tremor of respect. "The Cathar Imperium owes you a debt of gratitude that transcends mere words. Your assistance has averted a catastrophe. We misjudged you. We assumed malice where there was only goodwill. We sought conflict where you offered cooperation." Thorne's holographic image offered a slight, understanding smile. "It is understandable, High Counselor. First contact is often fraught with apprehension. We, too, have learned from this interaction. We have learned of the Cathar's resilience, your dedication to your people, and your ultimate capacity for reasoned thought. We believe this incident has laid a strong foundation for future collaboration." And so, the Cathar Imperium, once so proud, so convinced of its singular dominance, found itself extending an unprecedented invitation to the human delegation. Not merely for diplomatic talks, but for full, unrestricted access to their scientific and cultural archives, for a sharing of knowledge, for a formal alliance. The High Council chamber, once a crucible of fear and suspicion, now became a nexus of earnest inquiry and newfound understanding. Humans and Cathar scientists began to collaborate, their methodologies disparate yet complementary. The Cathar's deep understanding of macroscopic physics and large-scale engineering, combined with the humans' mastery of quantum mechanics and subatomic manipulation, began to unlock new frontiers of technological possibility for both species. The humans, in turn, were fascinated by the Cathar's unique biological adaptations, their communal social structures, and their extensive historical records of galactic evolution. The cultural exchange was equally profound. Cathar artists marveled at human music, their visual arts, and their complex narrative forms. Human historians delved into the Cathar's epic sagas, their philosophical treatises, and their intricate diplomatic protocols. A new era dawned, marked by an unexpected unity. The Cathar, once the solitary titans of their galactic arm, found themselves part of a burgeoning partnership, a collaboration that promised to elevate both species to new heights. The initial fear of the humans, the assumption of their weakness, had given way to a profound admiration for their quiet strength, their unwavering ethical compass, and their astonishing capacity for both innovation and empathy. The galactic community, long accustomed to Cathar dominance, watched with a mixture of surprise and cautious optimism as the two species forged a bond unlike any seen before. The humans, in their gentle yet undeniable way, had not only proven their strength, but had redefined what true strength meant in the vast, complex tapestry of the cosmos. Then the signal arrived. It was not a directed communication. It was not a broadcast. It was a faint, pervasive cosmic hum detected simultaneously by both Cathar deep space arrays and human long-range sensors. A pattern, an intricate, impossibly ancient mathematical sequence woven into the very fabric of background radiation, emanating from a region of the galaxy long considered a void, a sterile expanse between major galactic arms. The signal was not a call for help, nor was it a warning. It was a narrative, a chronicle of stellar collapse, of civilizations fading into dust, of a slow, inexorable descent into entropy. But within the patterns of decay, there was a core message, a directive, almost a plea, encoded in a language of pure mathematics that transcended any known linguistic framework. High Counselor Xyler and Ambassador Thorne stood together in the Cathar's Central Strategic Analysis Chamber, a space now shared by human and Cathar personnel, their distinct forms silhouetted against the swirling holographic projections of galactic maps. The signal, meticulously recalibrated and amplified, filled the chamber with its silent, profound message. "It speaks of an end," a Cathar xenoscientist stated, her voice hushed with awe. "Not an abrupt, violent end, but a slow, inevitable dissolution, a cosmic erosion." "And it speaks of a solution," a human astrophysicist added, his gaze fixed on the intricate patterns. "Or rather, a temporary preservation, a means to gather, to coalesce, to endure against the ultimate forces of the universe." The signal detailed the blueprints of an immense, self-sustaining megastructure, an artifact designed not for warfare, not for exploration, but for survival on a scale almost incomprehensible. It was a sanctuary, a vast artificial cosmos capable of housing entire civilizations, shielding them from the slow death of their stars, preserving their knowledge, their cultures, their very existence against the inevitable heat death of the universe. The structure was colossal, requiring resources beyond the scope of any single civilization and an understanding of physics that bordered on the divine. The signal also provided the coordinates of its intended construction site, the heart of the void region, where the signal itself had originated. The revelation sent a tremor through both the Cathar and human leadership. This was not merely a new frontier. It was an ancient, cosmic imperative. The builders of this structure, long since vanished, had left behind a legacy of desperate hope, a testament to their profound foresight and their ultimate failure to fully implement their vision. For the signal also contained data fragments, hints of attempts to begin construction, of resource acquisition, of an eventual cessation, leaving the project incomplete, abandoned, a silent monument to a future never fully realized. This structure," Xyler murmured, his ocular stalks fixed on the projected schematics, which now resolved into a shimmering, intricate framework of incomprehensible scale. "It is a testament to a level of ambition, of foresight, that dwarfs even our grandest end." "Evers," Thorne nodded slowly. "It is a message from across the eons, High Counselor, a warning and an opportunity, a chance to continue a project that began long before either of our species gazed at the stars, a chance for collective preservation, for the ultimate act of unity." The implications were staggering. This was not a conflict to be won, nor a diplomatic impasse to be resolved. This was a challenge on a galactic scale, a call to a purpose far greater than any individual species, or even any nascent alliance. The construction of such a megastructure, even with the combined technological might of the Cathar and humans, would be an undertaking of unimaginable complexity and duration. It would require the pooling of resources, knowledge, and labor from countless species across the galaxy. It would demand an unprecedented level of cooperation, a fundamental shift in galactic priorities, away from conflict and expansion towards a shared destiny of survival. The Cathar, once fiercely independent, once suspicious of all outsiders, now found themselves contemplating an alliance not just with the humans, but with an entire galaxy. The fear they had initially harbored for the humans, the assumption of their weakness, had ironically been the catalyst for their own transformation. The humans, through their calm strength, their ethical approach, and their unparalleled ingenuity, had not only proven themselves worthy allies but had revealed a path forward, a grander purpose that transcended even the vastness of the Imperium. "This is not merely for us, Ambassador," Xyler stated, his voice resonating with a newfound gravitas, his gaze sweeping across the faces of his counselors, now unified in their contemplation. "This is for all. This is the ultimate test of galactic cooperation, and it is a testament to the fact that true strength, true wisdom, lies not in the isolated might of a single empire, but in the boundless potential of collective endeavor." Thorn met Xyler's gaze, a quiet confidence radiating from his holographic form. "Indeed, High Counselor, the universe is full of mysteries and challenges, but it is also full of life, full of potential. Perhaps this ancient signal is not just a reminder of eventual decay, but a message of enduring hope. A challenge to build something greater than ourselves, to secure a future not just for our own species, but for all who will join us in this grand endeavor." The debate that followed was unlike any the Cathar High Council had ever known. It was not born of fear, nor of suspicion, nor of the drive for conquest. It was born of an astonishing, humbling realization that the universe was far vaster, far more complex, and far more interconnected than they had ever imagined. The humans, these unassuming beings from a primitive blue-green world, had not only revealed an unimagined technological mastery, but had also, inadvertently, illuminated a deeper truth about the nature of existence itself. They had shown that even in the face of ultimate cosmic entropy, there was still room for creation, for unity, for a desperate, beautiful struggle against the fading light. The Cathar, once so convinced of their own preeminence, now looked to the stars not with a hunger for expansion, but with a profound sense of shared purpose, a new understanding of their place within the vast, silent symphony of the cosmos. The legacy of a vanished civilization, a silent call from the depths of time, had brought together two disparate species, forging a bond that would ripple across the galaxy, forever changing the course of their shared future. And it all began with an anomaly, a quiet, underestimated presence that had ultimately revealed the true measure of galactic strength.